Hello, Slack Pack Slackers. Welcome back to my channel, Cerius Slack with Cerius Blaq. I'm your host, Cerius Blaq. And we are back with the first new style segment of Questions with the Slack Pack. And with me today in the studio is my co-host and friend, David F. Walker. Good morning. Yeah, it's early here.
Good morning. Yes, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm good. And our first guest for this new version of this installment is none other than Xavier from Ebony Warrior Studios. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I have had too much coffee, so I am gonna be like this the whole segment. Just this is what you get.
Bro, so this is how you are all the time. Don't even try to trip like it's I had too much coffee this morning and I'm a little fidgety. Caffeine makes me nervous. No, this is how you are all the time.
Well, I wish you had told me before we started recording this. I didn't know that. So yeah, check it out. For those watching, if you haven't seen any of the previous segments, this is the section of my channel where I invite somebody that is a creator, somebody that I follow or respect in some manner for their work, and just ask them the questions to get to know the person behind the stuff that we love. They make the stuff we like, but I want to know who is the person making it. So that's what we're doing today. Xavier, do you feel you're ready for this?
I'm ready.
Yeah, look at him. He's cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you related to Barry White at all? Because that was like the answer. It's like, yeah, I'm ready, baby.
Also, I said cool as the cucumber, and I never say that. And then it got me thinking, like, who came up with that? Like, it makes sense, right? It makes sense. But who was like, hold to the cucumber and just be like, you know what? Yeah. So anyway, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ask I won't say serious question, but a question, specifically picked out to get to know Xavier. And then we're going to pull up my bonus wheel, if you remember that, that is filled with 50 random, really dumbass questions that we're also going to ask Xavier. So we're going to spin, and whatever lands on, that's what he has to answer.
We're not going to ask him all 50, though, just for...
No, just one for each category we're doing. Yeah. So, you ready to play the game?
Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. We will go to this now.
All right, Xavier, what do you think you are known for?
What do I think I'm known for? Honestly, I feel like one of the main things I'm probably known for is being the angry, snarky black guy. That's probably if I'm being real, that's probably what it is. A lot of people come into contact with the posts that get pushed the most are the ones where I'm really pissed off at the stupid things that white folks do. So that's probably what it is.
I mean, that is how I found you. So that makes sense.
It's I feel like we're in need, if there's any linguists out there, language experts, we need to come up with just a single word for what you do, though, and what you're known for, because it's a real specific type of anger and snark that you put forth. And we don't have to come up with it now, but come up with it later. Like it's like I'm a pissed off Ian or something like that.
It's all about the branding.
Yeah. Then you make some T-shirts, and if I come up with the word, I get a royalty off of every sale. So
okay,
perfect.
That's how I roll. So.
Yeah, look at him, right doing turn that writer brain off for a second. Just writing. Yeah,
you asked me to help. This is what I'm doing.
What do you? Just out of curiosity, David, what do you think you're known for?
Oh man, I'm just known for being the prettiest man in comics.
Okay, well, I don't know why I bothered to ask him that. Let's go back to let's just go back to Xavier. Oh my God, I don't even know what to do with you, man. All right, so how about this? Let's just go to the next question, Here we go. So we're gonna spin the wheel 5 times, and then you'll answer the question, and then if we want to have a conversation after that, based on what it was said, then we can. But this will be the end of it here. 5 times. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna start here. Okay, now time for another spin the wheel question. We've had the serious talk. Let's get to this. So your first question, spinning the wheel. Let's see where we get. Oh! It's like right on the line. All right. So, what is your dream scenario for your funeral? Like, you can have anything happen. It's your funeral. You've planned it out ahead of time. What do you want to see take place?
Dream scenario for a funeral.
Yeah.
Put me in a boat like Boromir and send me over the falls of Rauros.
Ooh. Okay. He
Yeah.
wants to go out warrior style.
Nerd.
Whatever, David. You can't say nothing. I've been in your
That
house.
was good. That was good. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
And it was a deep cut too. So if I
like
had a
it.
hat, it would be off to you right now. So
real quick, my only thing is I would love to hire at least 10 to 15 people to dress up like Men in Black agents and just stand at the back of my funeral. And then, like, when it's almost over, they go up and scan my body and then just whisper confirmed and then leave.
That'd be fucking
It's just
That'd be amazing.
Right? That's what I'm talking about.
then what should we know you for?
Okay, so you should know me for you should know me for you should know me as the guy that gets really I'm very passionate about revolutionary talk, revolutionary ideas. You should know me as a communist. You should know me as someone who does not take nonsense when it comes to racism and white supremacy and capitalism. You should know me for someone who will stand 10 toes down no matter what, even if it garners them losing their job. That's why I dropped that at the family gathering yesterday. It was really funny.
Oh
they were
no!
Like, you have work tomorrow? Oh no, I don't work anymore. What happened? Oh, I didn't care that Charlie Kirk died.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want people to know that, like I am an educator, even if, I no longer am in a classroom. That's what I am through and through. I will continue to use my platform for that. And I will always maintain the same energy no matter what. Like, even if I didn't have any followers, I would be the same person. It's never been about follower count for me. It's never been about getting the biggest platform or whatnot, which is really weird because I just do this to get my wiggles out. And yet I had, 1.1 million on TikTok before I got rid of it, and then almost 500K on Instagram. And again, I don't give a shit about numbers, but it's like a whole bunch of people start following me I just talk, just random black guy, So
I have a question before we jump into anything else, because you said this before we started recording. You use the term wiggles, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to gather what you mean by wiggles when you say it, but I've never ever heard anybody use that term in quite the way I think you mean it. So could you tell us what you mean when you say wiggles?
When I say my wiggles, I am a neurodivergent person. So I have ADHD and I have autism. So I have very specific ways that my brain works. And so oftentimes I will, like, Google is my best friend. I'm using Google all the time because I'll just think random ass shit and I will look it up because I'm, and that's how my posts kind of work. You'll see the subjects bounce all over the place because I'm thinking of some random thing and I'm like, I want to talk about that, and I'll just make a video about it. And so it's just me getting my thoughts out. It's a way for me to get my thought processes out. If people listen to it, okay, but it's not necessarily, it's for conversation, to start conversation, but it, like, even if nobody were to comment or anything, it's just me being able to kind of talk to myself. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now, because I'm just curious, because again, this is sort of, I'm always fascinated with how each of us chooses to express ourselves and chooses to express the process. Do you have, and I mean this in a serious way, do you have a moment where you're like, oh, I feel the wiggles coming on? Is it like, are you always in a state like this?
So it's more like, say, like I'm just sitting watching something with Sydney. That's my partner.
Mhm.
We'll just be sitting there watching something, and something will pique my interest, and I'm like, oh, what if I were to talk about that? Or even it'll get me, like, it'll make me ask a question to myself, and then I'll go on like a rabbit, like a deep dive rabbit hole on that particular subject, and then I'll go and just talk about it. That's usually what it is. We're either having a conversation, or I'm doing something, or I'm watching, hanging out with her, talking to her, or I'll just randomly see things out in the world, and it'll just spark a either a search or just a conversation.
Okay.
Right.
No, it's just, I don't have a term for how I do it. So it's interesting to me that you call it the wiggles, because I have something similar to that. And I tend to write things down on Post-it notes, like look this up later.
Yeah.
But because I have really bad ADHD and I'm so disorganized, I will forget where I put the Post-it. And then like 3 weeks later, I'll find a Post-it and I'll be like, what is, and my handwriting's really bad too, right? So it'll be like, black rodeo clowns in Thai restaurants. Why am I, what is black rodeo clowns in Thai restaurants?
I'll do that same thing, but I've gotten to the point, I know that if I write it, sometimes I'll write it down and I'll completely forget what like where the thought process was, right? So I've gotten to the point where I'm like, no, I got to look it up right now. I got to pause and look it up right now. Otherwise it's going to get lost in the ether. And then my notes app is where I put all my stuff. Like if it's a random thought, my notes app is the most random and disorganized thing. It's like my email, like why I have multiple emails, because are you going to sit down and clear out your email, your inbox? No.
I don't know.
I use the notes app. I have Post-it notes. I have probably 50, physical notebooks with stuff jotted down, and I still can't get a handle on it. And I email myself stuff. I text message myself stuff. I do it all, and it's interesting just to hear you talk about it, because I know other people go through it, but I usually don't talk to them about it, And I'm sorry, I know we're diverging from, we haven't got to the other questions yet, but
this is literally the best part of being neurodivergent, though, when you go off on tangents. It's so much fun.
And no, I get it. It's fine. Yeah.
You said that Google's your best friend. So do you have how well are you at putting stuff into what you're looking up, because that's the key, is knowing the right order of words and to put it in. Do you have a system?
I think that I guess for every neurodivergent person, their brains work differently. So I guess I would call one of my little neurodivergent superpowers is, like, I was an English, my mom was an English teacher. I grew up, in the fourth grade, I was reading at like a high school and college level. So I've always really been good with words. So whenever I'm searching for stuff, I've seen how some people have difficulty searching for things online or in Google and whatnot. I always have a way with words. So I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know what to put into the search bar when I'm searching for things to help me with my searches. That's just how my brain works. It's one of those ways that my brain works.
Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
that's good
it's interesting that we're on this topic too, because I've been thinking this whole time. Like, I'm actually in the process of getting tested for neurodivergency in some form or matter. Because, truth be told, I don't know if I am. There are certain things that I do or tactics, but I also think I have been an incredible masker for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So I don't, because of survival and necessity. Because like I use the Notes app, and I use like Google is my friend too, but I'm very organized at work because I've had to learn to be. And so I use all sorts of task management apps and things like that. But in my private life, like I'll find something on Instagram and then I'm just mailing it to myself in Messenger so I can look it up later. And then, but it was the worst when I was like rapping, because I would have notebooks upon notebooks of lyrics, but it wouldn't be like I would start a verse in this book, and then the end of the song would be in another book, or it'd be on a napkin or a piece of toilet paper, or just
I just wrote, this is maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, I wrote one of the best short stories I've ever written. And it's a comic story, and I thumbnailed it out. I did the little stick figure drawing, so I knew that it would work. And I can't find it anywhere. I know I wrote it in a notebook, and I know that I wrote it in my bedroom. So I have notebooks in my bedroom. I've got them in the office. I've got them all over the place, but I tend to keep them in the same spot. I won't move a bedroom notebook out of the bedroom.
That is one of the other fun things about ADHD is how stuff will literally disappear. Like it's in front of your face and it will gone. It is the most annoying thing on the planet.
Okay, so I didn't know that aspect, and that literally happened to me last night while I was customizing toys. I was working on a toy, put it down to go find like some boots or something, and then turned back and it was like, where the hell is it?
Stuff moves on its own, or it just out of existence. That's why Sydney is she's also neurodivergent, but we are different in our different aspects of neurodivergence. So she is the yin to my yang, quite literally. So she is a person who can literally, like, she's got almost deidetic memory, like can remember where something, like from weeks ago, can remember the last place something was and give you a jumping off point where to look for it. Like, so if I'd lost something, she will know, okay, I saw it here last, you can probably check here. And 9 times out of 10, it's in that exact spot or right near that spot. It's insane. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, she balances me.
It's good to have somebody like that in your life. I was good. I recently had my goddaughter, God bless her, had got it in her head that I needed help with being organized. So she hired this team to come in, and I needed to get rid of junk and all this sort of stuff, right? And I call it being on an archaeological dig. So like I tend to know where certain things are or the general vicinity, but everything got moved. And the one room they didn't come into was my bedroom. I said, don't touch that. But now I'm wondering, did I take that notebook that I'd written a story in? Did I bring it into the living room or the office to like look at it some other time? And now it's like, bro, I was looking for a screwdriver. I knew where all my screwdrivers were, but they moved them. And now it's like, I can't even find I can't find a pen that works.
I call that organized chaos, because my studio's like that. This is my work studio. So whenever I'm working on a project, the downtime between projects, everything's pristine and clean. But then when I get into a project, organized chaos. Somebody coming in from the outside will say, oh my gosh, everything looks so crazy and messy. But that's my artistic process. That's how I work. And I know where everything is. So if you come in and start organizing stuff and moving stuff, you just fucked up the whole process. I have no idea where anything is now.
Yeah, no, I get that. Same thing here. Like, you know, a lot of Slack Pack, a lot of times you guys see me at this camera angle, and this is my homeroom studio, right? But what you don't see is that there are literally action figure parts everywhere else. Just it is covered with legs and arms and heads. But I know where stuff is most of the time. Like I can go like, oh, I need the legs. They're in that pile over there. I'm gonna go get them. You know, but anyway.
Every couple months, and then we'll move on. Every couple months, I'm at the store and I buy a pack of Post-it notes, pens, and index cards. And I still can't find any working pens. Can't find any Post-it notes. I must have, no exaggeration in terms of Post-it notes. I have to have. I am looking at this one right here, so I've got these right here. But I must have hundreds of these, and for the most part, I don't know where any of them are. And I'll be looking, and then I'll do shit like I'll look in the refrigerator. I'll be like, well, maybe when I was at the store, I bought some Post-its and some milk. Maybe I put the Post-its in the refrigerator with the milk. No, the Post-its ain't there.
Actually, you know what? Let's end on this question then, because I do want to know, because it's happened to me. What have you accidentally put in the refrigerator?
Oh man, keys is the most often for me. It's like I'll leave my keys or something like that in the refrigerator.
TV remote. I'm the TV remote guy in the refrigerator.
Oh, it was my phone one. I was holding it in my hand and went to the fridge and I swapped something out, put my phone in there instead, and then I'm trying to figure out where my phone is. I can't. I don't put my phone on loud. That's just
me neither.
Vibrate at all times. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out where the hell my phone is, but I can very slightly hear the vibrate. I'm like, where the fuck is this thing? And I'm losing my mind. Like, where is it? And I'm looking under stuff. I'm looking in the kitchen underneath things. And I'm like, I hear it near the fridge. Where the hell is it? Right? Not thinking to open the fridge.
Please tell me you didn't move the fridge.
No. I literally looked underneath the fridge because I thought maybe I dropped it and slipped under the fridge. And then I what made the realization was I turned around and I drink oat milk. So I'm sitting there, I turn around and I see the oat milk on the counter, and I didn't think of anything, think of it at first, but then I'm like, wait a minute, why is the oat milk on the counter? I put the phone in the fridge.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's a good one, though. That's really good.
For the audience, I'd like you to put in the comments, what have you accidentally put in the fridge, please? Thank you. Okay, here we are with question number 2 on the spinning wheel of dumbness. Here we go. All right. Your turn to recommend something, Xavier. It can be a book, comic series, TV show, movie, anything, song, something that you would like to recommend to the audience.
Too many people have not seen The Lord of the Rings. All of my answers are going to be Lord of the Rings related. You not seen
Is that true? Is that true? There's a lot of people that still haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Yes. A lot of people are kind of turned off by the length. And they're like kind of scared. Oh, that's really long. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sit down. Literally, I would say, number one, the extended editions are far better. But if you get I think the beginnings of the Fellowship can be a little slow if you've never been introduced to Lord of the Rings. Once you get into it, once the ring raids are introduced, it's game over.
Yeah,
like it pulls everybody in. I need everybody to go see it or see it.
It's also, and this is not explaining or justifying people being stupid, but the movies are actually old at this point, right? They're all over 20 years old, and that's the thing. So I know when I'm teaching and I'll say to my students, they're all university students, and I'll say oh, hey, so how many of you have seen The Matrix? And nobody raises their hand. And then I have to remember, oh shit, Matrix came out in 99. So that's it. Like anything that's more than 6 months old is too old for a lot of younger people. And so that sort of pop culture literacy or any sort of literacy is lost. It's a dying art form.
There's a good chance they haven't read the books then either. So
yeah. But I would recommend them for like, especially in this day and age, we're seeing a war against empathy, a war against, you know, caring for one another. It's like the idea that men can be empathetic or loving towards others and one another is demonized. And the Lord of the Rings is one of the best examples of positive masculinity that I've ever seen. Like you know how men will whenever the conversation is, you know, like what is it that a woman wants, and then men will always say, you know, like the big burly body lifter and what blah blah, you know, like that is what men want. That is men's vision of what a man wants. What women want, and I've seen this on multiple of the conversations online, they'll say people like Aragorn, someone who is quiet, unassuming, but caring, you know, loyal to a fault. Aragorn is the woman's vision of what a woman wants. They don't want the big burly body lifter man, you know, muchacho dude. That's yeah, because it's oftentimes those men are very self-centered. Those men care about, you know, public image, and I think that's a big problem too. Everybody's so worried about how the world is going to view them because everything is empathy is being demonized, and fascism is becoming mainstream. Everyone wants to be in the in crowd. A lot of people are being pulled into those worlds of, you know, bigotry and fascism because that's the in thing to do. And you know, being woke is it makes you a square at this point.
I'll be a square forever then, because I'll tell you this though, like as a born empath, just like my mom.
All right, this is a serious one. So, are you ready?
Yes.
How do you fight?
So how do I fight? Let's see. So physically, I don't fight because I don't like confrontation. Like if the situation calls for it, I'm one of those people that I will fight dirty. I don't give a shit. Like genuinely, I don't. There's no like, oh no, we have to do this like men, fisticuffs. No, I will cheat. I will cheat and then beat your ass. Like I don't care. But I don't like confrontation because that's just how my personality works. I've never been one to enjoy confrontation, like a physical altercation, you know, like online dragging races, bro, the dopamine hit. Get high off of dragging race. It is, and that like the way that it just chef's kiss. But but like physical altercations, if I have to fight, I'm a fight. But I just don't like, I will, if it's like in the presence of an actual person, I am scathing with my words, you know. But if somebody wants to like physically fight, I'm not going to fight unless I have to, because what is that going to serve? I'm going to probably go to jail because, you know, because of the color of my skin. I'm not doing that.
Right.
But when it comes to like, how do I fight? Like for social justice, for example, I'm I have always had the stance that the only people protected in my spaces are Black women, people of color, and people of the LGBTQ plus community and disabled community. Those are the only people that I will sit there and advocate for. And anyone else, I don't have time to coddle your feelings. Anyone else, I don't have time to deal with your fragility, because these are most of the systems in place are there to disenfranchise those groups that I mentioned. So I use my platform as a sort of safe space for those communities.
Yeah.
And that involves, like, I curate my space to a T. That's one of the ways I fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not the type of person that just lets my comment sections run wild. If somebody's being a bigot, usually they'll get dragged and then they get blocked. I make sure that, and it's not like I'm just making some sort of echo chamber,
Right.
right? Like, I do have people who want to actively learn. They may be on the wrong path and they want to listen and learn, but having been in this game for so long, I can definitely tell that difference. Somebody just trying to make a scene and center themselves versus someone who is actively wanting to listen and learn. And
Yeah.
most often it's usually, someone wanting to take up space, being an energy vampire.
Ugh.
So yeah, so I don't deal with nonsense when it comes to my pages and my spaces.
Yeah.
You want to, have those conversations where you get to center yourself. Do it on your own platform.
Mm-hmm.
I when it comes to my spaces and my space, which I miss so much, I I treat it like my house, right? And I will say to people, I'm like, yo, would you say this in my house? And the answer is no, you wouldn't, because if you did, I'd probably break out the cast iron skillet and hit you in the head with it, right? So I don't stand for it at all. But I also am I think maybe part of it's just my age. I'm done dragging people and it's just like I just delete block. That's it. I'm done trying to correct people. And in fact, we had it over Thanksgiving dinner. It wasn't a family gathering. It was just a group of friends. And somebody tried to start that shit, this is how I think. And I literally said, you saw the whole thing escalating. And I turned to the dude that was saying it and I said, look, we all made a choice not to be with our families today so we could avoid this. So we're all going to just agree to disagree. And we're going to start talking about something pleasant because I don't want my meal ruined. And he's like, well, I got another thing to say. And I said, no, you're not saying another thing. Like, we're going to honor the peace at this meal, right? And I just, I guess maybe I'm good at shutting shit down that way. There's been, for me, I mean, I fight. I like to fight. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm old enough that I don't have the same energy. So it's like, okay, is this something I really? Like you said, sometimes you can tell people are on the path that they're on, but they're trying to.
Yeah, they're trying to be better.
They're trying to find a better way. And then there's other people that are so set in their ways. And those are the people I'm like, hey, you know what? That's the door right there. Like, why don't you walk your ass out that door? I'll make you a little container of leftovers so you can have the rest of your meal. But it is time.
Yeah, once I get the first inclination that they're the latter, the kind of who will just is not there to learn or like really hear anybody else's viewpoint, then I just stop with them and I go, okay, well, I'm just not gonna, and I'm upfront with them too. Like, well, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna. Sometimes I don't even agree to disagree. I just say, like, I don't like what you're saying, and I don't have to listen to it, so you can get the fuck away from me. That's it.
If it's online, I don't say shit. This just happened to be someone sitting next to me at the dinner table, so I.
Oh no, I do it both. I do it online and in person. Like, I've definitely blocked and cut off a lot of people, and I don't necessarily, offer an explanation or anything like that. Another example, since we're talking about this, is like a couple weeks ago. I did a music video reaction to a band called Hollywood Undead, and it was my first time hearing them, whatever. And I was doing it with a group of friends, and this is a band from the 2000s, and so we did several videos, and in two of their songs, I'm listening, and then they use the F word like twice, and so I stopped the reaction, and I was like, hey, did y'all hear that? Like. I'm not going to ignore that these people, this band that y'all telling me y'all love, is using homophobic slurs,
Mhm.
and you just cool with it. Like, I'm never going to shy away from the things that I believe in for the sake of my platform.
Yeah.
Period. So, because I think a lot of people have been pissed off with me since I started my channel, because I will go into other people's comments and go like, "Hey man, that's misogyny. That's misogynoir." Especially male YouTube reactors reacting to women performers.
Yep.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm just gonna confess real quick. You said they dropped the F word, and I was like, "What's wrong with saying fuck?" I don't. And then it took me a second, and I was
My
like,
brain did that for a second too, and then I realized, oh wait, no.
My bad. Yeah.
Because I think about that sort of stuff, and I will tend to sort of like, okay, wait a sec. So how am I hearing? Did I hear that word right? And then I'll, if it's in a song and God, it's been so long since I've actually heard that word, unless it's like I'm watching a movie or something from the 70s or 80s, watching an Eddie Murphy movie or something. And then it's like, and he said it all the time. And it's like, okay, well, we can talk about that. I get what Eddie Murphy was saying. I'm not saying I condone it, but we can break it apart. Other times when I hear it, I'm like, my first instinct is always, well, when was this? Because I watched a TV show the other day. Isn't this great? Us going off on these tangents, right? And they dropped the R word, right?
Oh yeah.
And the show was like from 1973, and I literally went, and it like I don't get shocked. Nothing. It takes so much to shock me, and that word shocked me, right? And I called a friend and I was like, "Yo, man, I just watched the show, and I got to tell you what they said." And then we started laughing because it was like, it wasn't funny what they said, but it was funny that it was like, yo, man, can you believe there was a time when this was acceptable? Can you believe? And then and I'm old enough that like, there ain't a single problematic term that I haven't used in everyday conversation at some point 30 years back, when I'm in high school, and there weren't jokes that this is the thing. I don't run away from the stupid things I've said and done. There's jokes that I laughed at when I was a kid that now I would just look at if I could go back and say to myself, this wasn't funny. This is really hurtful. Right.
Same.
And I would, there's also a strange feeling when, if for myself anyway, when you start to realize, oh yeah, what didn't bother me before, or what I didn't think about, or the words I let come out of my mouth, like, damn, I've changed. And then the scariest thought is that I've gotten mature, and I don't like being thought of as mature. I want to be childish and immature. And so, but yeah, no.
Okay, I get it.
It is. It's very crazy because words have more power than most of us really truly realize, even when we're making a conscious decision to use them as weapons or as tools. We don't necessarily think about what might be a word that easily rolls off my tongue, slaps you in the face, and we don't realize how hard we're slapping somebody in the face. I try to think about how hard I'm going to slap you in the face, right?
I do too. Yeah.
We talk about that often on my platform. It's everything. You have to approach every conversation from the perspective of nuance and intersectionality. If you can't do that, there's no reason for you to be in my space, because you are coming from this position of your particular privilege, not thinking about putting yourself into someone else's shoes. You may be an able-bodied person, not thinking about the position of someone who is disabled. You may be a white person, not thinking about the position of someone who is Black or brown. If you can't do that, I'm not the creator for you. I'm not the space for you. We don't have time to mince words or argue about that.
Right. Follow. Well, let me ask him a follow-up question. Because you battle so many fronts, like, what do you? I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to pinpoint this, but which argument or battle that you're facing seems the hardest to have to explain to people?
Washing your chicken before you cook it.
That is,
I swear to God, I'm not joking.
Holy shit!
White people, you would think it would be some, like there's a multitude of other things that white people would get up in arms about. Telling white people to wash their chicken before they cook it, that you would think you murdered their firstborn child. It is. I'm not joking to you. It is the wildest conversation to have.
So, can I just say, this is the God's honest truth. I've never had this conversation with anybody. I just have assumed everybody washed their chicken before they cook it.
But the answer you will always get when you try to have this conversation with white people, well, now the CDC says it spreads salmonella. How the fuck would salmonella be spread if you are sanitizing as you go? And then white people's assumption is that you're literally taking the chicken and running it under a faucet. So the way I always approach the conversation is white people have this idea that, my worldview is reality. They don't approach anything from the position of nuance, and they never ask questions, clarifying questions. They don't want to because they assume they're in the right. So their assumption is that we're running it under faucets of water, which is not the case to begin with. And then they think that like dirtiness is just being spread everywhere. And even if this particulates were being spread everywhere, you're letting me know that you don't know how to clean up after yourselves or sanitize as you go. Like there's so much wrong with the way that they approach that conversation, and they get so angry about it. Even though Black folks been cooking their meals for centuries before this. And, like once we gained our freedom, they started having to do shit on their own. And now they want to be mad when we say, it's probably, especially in the United States, where we have, food processing that is not like, that's kind of gross. So it's not, they're in their minds, they think washing your chicken before you cook it is so that way you can sanitize it. No, it's to get any particulates off of that chicken. Who wants to eat the slime or the gristle or any sort of like fecal matter particulates that are left behind? Who wants to do that?
Killer Croc. He just he just picks it up off the ground and goes to town. Holy crap. All right, on the third question now of the dumb wheel. Oh, look, you get 2. Or maybe 3. Nope. Oh, almost. So, any weird fears or phobias?
Weird fears or phobias. I'm terrified of clowns, but that's not like a weird fear. They're legitimately fucking terrifying. Let's see. Weird fear.
Or even an irrational fear. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it's still there.
You want me to kick? I could kick it off if you help. If it helps.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
My weird one is that while I'm sitting on the toilet, a snake is going to come up and bite me either on the ass, the testicles, or in the perineum, which is the skin in between.
Yeah, no, that's valid though. That's not. I wouldn't call that irrational because that happens in Australia often. No.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, but
because
it doesn't happen in Portland that often.
But still,
but it can happen. But like I never thought about that. So, but thank you.
Here we go. Irrational fear. Okay. I am an excellent swimmer, right? Yeah. But I have a fear of big fish. Period. I don't give a shit if this is, like a really docile sort of fish. If it's big, if it's large enough to encompass a human body, it terrifies me. I don't do groupers. I don't do whale sharks. That scares the mess out of me. So I cannot swim in water that is where I can't see the bottom.
Okay,
I won't do it.
That's not irrational at all. That's
no. This is where the irrational part comes in.
Okay.
Swimming pool. swimming pools as well, when I'm in the deep end, and it's like, those sort of swims where you don't really have anybody, there's not many other people in the pool.
Yeah.
The idea that there could be something, even though it's just the deep end of the pool, what if there's a shark? What if? What if?
Okay.
You can't necessarily see down there all the time. What if?
Yep. Somebody could have set me up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Could have let open a gate like in the wall of the pool and let something out. You don't know.
I saw that in a James Bond movie.
I was just going to say, I was like, this is James Bond shit right there.
Thunderball. They had like a tunnel that went from the. Yeah. So okay. I think that's a valid fear. So.
Yeah. What about you, Slack Pack? You watching any weird fears that you got? Let me know in the comments.
Mental health. Do you have it? How? So I think that should be more mental health. Shouldn't be like mental health issues or mental health care. Because that's pretty vague the way we asked it.
Do you have mental health? Do you have health?
Okay. Do you have mental health? I get how you're asking it. Okay.
Do I have mental health? No.
That's the correct answer. This is a test, and you passed.
No, I do not. I live in a constant state of existential crisis. I have lived like I was so that like 10 years ago, I was so optimistic, thinking that things. And I'm not saying that I'm a doomerist or whatever, but I was so optimistic about the future of this country in particular. Like we are going to be better. We can do so much better. People want change. They want revolution. And now, I know that we are nowhere near ready. Holy shit, we are nowhere near ready for change. We are no transformative change, political change, economic change. Everyone is so sedentary and ingratiated in this culture of capitalism.
Yep.
That like any idea of change is just either frowned upon, or it's like the one comment that sets me off every time is we talk about any revolutionary ideas is, oh well, boycotts don't work.
Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot, especially with the day that we're recording.
What's the point of boycotting? That boycotts don't work. They don't work because you're not doing it. You're not doing it.
If you don't do it, it's definitely not going to work. I mean, well, okay, you can't. You have to be doing something though. I can't imagine you just remain in existential dread.
Oh no.
Like what?
The only reason I'm not like some rampant serial killer right now is because I find hobbies to get my wiggles out. So it's literally my social media platforms, or I'm working on a new set of armor, or I'm working on a project for a client, or I'm making a new, sixth scale figure. I keep myself busy. Otherwise I would go insane, because it genuinely feels like the world is bonkers. It feels like, being a leftist, it feels like we're the only ones that are seeing the writing on the wall, and everyone else is just outright ignoring it. So I have to. I do Lord of the Rings marathons almost every month. Literally, I watch the Lord of the Rings in its entirety every month, because that's one of my happy places. That's one of the places that brings me back down.
I was actually watching the old Hobbit cartoon with my partner last night.
Oh my God, those are.
Oh wow, the one from what, 78, whatever.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Bro, rotoscoping is terrifying.
We had a whole discussion around the voice acting of Schmeagol versus what was in the movies, and
oh yeah.
So
It's been a long time since I've seen any of it, because they did Ralph Bakshi did Lord of the Rings. I can't remember who did Return of the King and The Hobbit, because there's 3 total. There's 3 different animated things, but they weren't all done by the same company. Interesting. I'm a big fan of that. What's your go-to? That there's the, whether it's film, TV, music, whatever, those things that sort of just soothe you, I guess, for lack of a better term, soothe your soul, which is interesting, because the music that used to soothe me don't soothe me no more, right? Like there's certain things that I can't listen to, because I realize, oh no, for me in my 20s, being soothed meant I needed something to get me riled up. I needed, like, my battle themes, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like, oh no, I still like some of that music, but I'm not going to listen to it right now, because it's going to get me, it's not going to put me in a relaxive state. It's going to get me in a state where I want to, like, go whoop somebody's ass, So,
I have been practicing for years on cataloging my media intake based on how I feel at that time. And so what that does for me is forces me to assess how I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling depressed, if I'm already riled up, that will help me choose between whether I'm going to watch Kamen Rider, John Wick, or something about a girl picking flowers. Something, it will be different. And that's why I also make various playlists. Like I have playlists based for moods. Like I intentionally try not to play the riled up music if I'm already angry, because I already know what it's going to do with me. Like I can't play Public Enemy's Kate Trusted and then go to work. That's just not happening. It's not. I can't do that anymore.
No. Yeah.
But I'm also a big advocate for therapy. So depending on.
Sean, what's your number? I have what I call my feel good playlist. It doesn't change too often. Do you, if there's one song that can bring you back down and soothe your nerves, if there's just one that you could listen to over and over again, what is it?
Over and over. I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I do have a playlist, but I grew up in Chicago, so I grew up on Chicago House. Shout out to Frankie Knuckles. Frankie Knuckles, may rest in peace. So there's a house song called "Follow Me" that was really big in the early '90s, and I think it was from a group called Alias, like all of us, but it was like Ally Us or something like that. And so if that comes on, like it's on my feel good playlist, but when it comes on, I feel extra good.
Okay.
The words are simple, the melody is like, it's for me, and I love house music, so that really gets me. Thank you for asking that question. I don't get the chance to talk about that.
Do you have one, Xavier? Do you have like a feel good playlist? And if so, is there one song in particular that when it comes on, you'll hit repeat?
This is my the playlist will go to. It's called the Complete Hobbit and Lord of the Rings Film Collection.
I knew it.
The City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. It is my favorite album, and I think when I had Spotify, it was like when it does the yearly recap, right. It was number 1 for the past at least 7 years was Howard Shore. Every single year.
Mine for the last 2 years has either been a toss up between Rhapsody or 7-member Japanese girl group XG because they make musical sunshine. So I just need that sometimes. What about you, David?
There you go. Mine is it's a couple songs in particular, but one of them is Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground, which always puts me in a good mood.
Okay.
And then the song Shambhala by Three Dog Night.
Okay.
But I'll tell you, the one that really gets me feeling good.
Oh boy. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Is from the soundtrack to the movie Fame, I Sing the Body Electric. And
oh my gosh.
I could just listen to those 3 songs. I could listen to any one of those songs on repeat for like 20-30 minutes, and it almost like it resets my emotional barometer or whatever. There's a few others that do it. Nobody believes me, this one. But one of the songs that really helps me get I guess I would call it re-regulated or rebalanced is Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. Like that song actually makes me feel better. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's I think there was a time where it would have been a song that riled me more, right? Like, but it's when you really listen to it. I during COVID, there was like a point where I only listened to that song, just that song, and I thought like there was, because I felt, and I said it feels like I said to myself out, I said, damn, it just feels like I'm on the crazy train, and so I was like, I'm going to listen to that song, and I listened to it, and it was when we get older, I feel that there's certain songs, some songs don't age at all. Some songs age really poorly. And then some songs are just like, oh, this is a completely different song to me. This song is different to me in my 50s than it was in my 20s. And it's, I'm endlessly fascinated with the emotional resonance that any single song can have for us, and how both the emotional or our intellectual connection to it, how it can actually change. And that's an example of a song that really changed for me. So I'll just listen to Ozzy, all aboard the crazy train. And I'm like, oh yeah, I feel good now, so.
I was not expecting that, but I accept it.
It's, it is, music to me is, I think because it's something that I don't do, but I always wanted to do. To me, it's the greatest place for me to escape when I need to just sort of reset and recalibrate. And again, like when I was younger, I didn't listen to jazz, but now like and jazz is the one type of music where it almost never disappoints me when I hear something I've never heard before. Whereas a lot of times with rap, or even rock or something like that, it's easier for me to be disappointed, especially if people are saying something, if they got lyrics and then they say the wrong thing. I'm like, oh man, you just ruined this. I don't want to hear nothing about booty clapping or anything like that. I just want to hear, I want to hear John Coltrane playing the saxophone or something like that. So
okay, word up. All right, well, we have one more serious question for y'all.
A shark in the deep end of the pool.
It is a legitimate, it's valid.
What was your last weird conversation? On either side. Could have been you listening to somebody else.
Sydney and I have the weirdest conversations all the time. I actually write them down. Hold on. It's in notes. we have.
And it circles back to notes.
Yes, it does. Here it is. So Sydney has this thing of saying common idioms incorrectly, and it's the funniest thing on the planet. So like you know the phrase like a broken clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to say that, but her brain parsed it out of her mouth as a broken clock strikes twice, and I was crying. She was a broken clock strikes twice, and she was also thinking of lightning striking. Lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. I was crying. A broken clock strikes twice. I was like, we need to make a movie about that.
I was going to say a book called Broken Idioms. So you put those in, and then you put the actual idioms, and then you talk about like either the origins or what they actually mean. Because I was there was one that popped up in my head the other day, and I was like, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I was like, what does that even mean?
Right?
It's yeah.
Man, I killed a cat. Yeah, I killed the cat with 2 bags.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like thinking about idioms, like seriously, like where do they come from? Bury the hatchet, raining cats and dogs. Like we are so used to them, but then when you think about it, like that's a really bizarre thing to say. You know,
Yeah, no,
like that. Yeah, like the one I was just messing with. Like, who let that cat out the bag? Like, who came up with that, and what the hell was they doing? What was that? But a broken clock strikes twice. It also sounds like a password that you need to give somebody to get something. Like, here are the documents.
Yeah, the broken clock strikes twice. The shark is in the deep end of the pool, and then they give the key to the railroad
sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Those are the code words for unlocking the sleeper agent.
Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know. He just turned out Manchurian as soon as I said the broken clock strikes twice. All right.
Xavier. Question.
Yeah, I don't.
How do you nerd?
My nerd. I've been, let's see, I think my most outward expression of nerddom is I've been cosplaying professionally since 2010 at least. So I've been I've been doing that for a minute. And some of the opportunity, like the places I've gotten to go because of it, the things that I've built for it, it's been like I used to be a graphite artist. And then that transferred over to designing cosplays effortlessly. Like the transfer of skill over to designing and drawing patterns for cosplays was it was the coolest transference of power. And so that I think that's probably one of the most noteworthy ways that I nerd. I do enjoy gaming. I do enjoy I enjoy watching I love horror movies. Sydney and I will watch all sorts of series together and things like that. Like we're very much Rick and Morty buffs. But I think cosplay is probably one of the biggest ways that I express my nerddom. Because it really, I grew up, I still am a very introverted person. Still very introverted, and I grew up bullied as well. So this was a way that I could, kind of express myself without having to necessarily have my face out, So most of the cosplays I've ever done, I get to wear a helmet. So I don't feel like I'm exposed. I feel very comfortable within that armor or whatever that I'm wearing. And I get to, I kind of method act when I'm that character,
Nice.
The most, I think one of the times that really solidified that this is what I wanted to do was, it was 2016 at Dragon Con. I was wearing my Batman, and there was a little kid that was, I was walking down the sidewalk, and I saw this kid with his mom, and he was wearing one of those like Party City sort of Batman outfits. I think it was based off of the '89 Batman, so it was the black with the yellow logo. But I saw him, and he saw me coming towards him, and he's like super excited. I could just see him pulling on his mom. And when I got up there to talk to him, I knelt down, and he said, "Batman, you're brown just like me. Can I be a superhero one day too?" Absolutely wrecked my ass. Wrecked me. Absolutely wrecked me. And I never, like, when I was wearing when I used to wear my Batman, I don't wear Batman anymore because I don't want to shave. I refuse to shave. and I wanted
with
to
a beard.
No, I've seen other cosplayers do Batman with a beard, and it looks so strange to me. It looks bizarre. So I can't be one of those. I'll let somebody else do it. It's not going to be me. And also, I have the what is it? Dawn of Justice cowl, and that one has the cowl that comes up over your chin, so it won't even fit over my beard. But anyways, I told him, that you can be whoever you want to be and don't ever let anyone tell you differently. It was like that catalyst moment, because I was enjoying cosplaying, but seeing a little Black kid who, I grew up not often seeing myself represented. When I did, we were sidekicks, we were, like comic relief. We never often saw ourselves as the main superheroes, and in that moment, I got to be that main superhero for this little boy. And that just, when I cosplay, I know that after that was when I created the hashtag representation matters. And it really does. Like, seeing other Black folks get out there and do stuff. Like, I'm going to cheer on, like, it really doesn't matter what it is. If I see a Black person, I'm cheering. Because it's like, we have to work 10 times as hard to get to any particular position. You know what I mean? We have to do 10 times the work. And so whenever I see us out there, I'm just excited. I'm so excited to see us in those, in whatever spaces it is. So cosplay is definitely a white dominated sort of field or activity. And we just had a Black cosplayer. I believe her name was Ash. I can't remember.
Yeah.
She committed suicide because of the racism she was receiving. Because when it comes to white people cosplaying as people of color, that's totally cool. But a Black person cosplays as anything other than a Black character, that's a problem for the cosplay community.
Yep.
And
I follow a lot of people that actually have been talking about that.
Yeah, and the racism is rampant. I dealt with the mad levels of racism. Like, especially when it comes to like my Lord of the Rings cosplays.
Oh, I'm sure. I was gonna ask. That was
when I did Aragorn, people were telling me that I shouldn't. I can't be Aragorn because Black people only come from Umbar and Harad in the world of Lord of the Rings. And this was one of the things. This is why I like J.R.R. Tolkien as a writer. He acknowledged the racism within his work.
Yeah.
And like, acknowledge these things and strived to be better. He acknowledged the issues of racism with making the dark-skinned people from the South the bad guys, and like, as inclusive as Lord of the Rings fandoms like to pretend they are. Oh my God, dude. Especially, like when Rings of Power came out and you
oh my God,
elves, Black elves being represented.
They was pissed.
Lost their fucking minds.
Lost their minds. Because I was the dude sitting in the theater watching Peter Jackson's Hobbit. I can't remember if it's the first or second one. And there were some Black folks in there. And I literally went, oh, there's Black folks there. Because there's literally not a single person of color. And the orcs don't count. There's not a single person of color.
There is one in the original trilogy.
Really?
Where?
There is one?
Yes. There is one Black guy who is a Gondorian ranger. That's it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. He's in the background, but I noticed him several years ago. But he's the only one.
Which one of the three movies?
It's Return of the King, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look for him now.
I'll point this out because I had a point where I had started a list called the White 100, and it was the 100 greatest movies of all time that have no Black people in it, right?
Yeah.
And I had to re-clarify it, which is the 100 greatest movies of all time that have no Black characters with speaking parts.
Yes.
Right? Because I recently rewatched Jaws, which is like one of my all-time favorites. and it's clear that at least three Black families were on vacation at Amity Island when the shark attacked, because in the background you can see them, and I never noticed them until probably about a year or two ago, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, there's Black folks in the background, because that's how closely I will watch a movie just to find, like for me, to find representation. That's how hard I'm looking. And I will hit pause and I will rewind. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like we are having to look in the background, and we get so excited about the background characters because the bar is in hell.
Yeah.
For representation.
And especially when it's older films. And I just I watched Wicked the other night, the first one, and I was just like, yo, I can't believe how many people of color are in this movie. And I'm pretty sure every character in there is bisexual. I really am. I was like, or that's too specific. There's this, and maybe it's just because I was sleep deprived while I was watching it. It was like there was no clearly defined, I'm not going to say gender roles, but in terms of sexuality, no, everybody seemed fluid to me. Everybody, I was like,
queer coded like world and film.
Yeah,
isn't it? And like, and not in a way that I don't know why I didn't notice it. This was the second time I watched the movie. It doesn't bother me. It makes me happy because not the first Wizard of Oz movie, but the one we all know from the 30s is so. I mean, like, even this is how you want to talk about going down a deep dive. I was convinced at least some of the flying monkeys had to have been played by Black actors in the 1930s version of The Wizard of Oz, and they weren't. Like, I did all the research trying to figure it out. Now, what is interesting is there's a 1925 version of The Wizard of Oz in which one of the guy who becomes the lion, I can't remember his name, that was played by a Black actor in the 1925 version of The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
But you want to know what the actor's name was?
What?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, God. What?
G. Howe Blaq. Yeah, that was his name. That was his stage name. I'm trying to remember his real name.
What?
Did he pick that, or did they name him?
That's a good question. I mean,
my God,
it's difficult to tell. That particular film and that history is so. When it comes to Black actors, it's difficult to figure out sometimes, is this a name they picked for themselves, or is this the name the studio or the producers or someone gave them? Because there's a lot of actors out there whose name is Snowball. There's a lot of Snowballs. There's a lot of 8 Balls. And it's just kind of like, oh, really? Like, but you also recognize the interchangeability of all of them. So there's actually, with the actor G. Howe Blaq, there's been a certain amount of, I guess, arguments or disagreement over exactly who he was, because as near as I can tell, there were 2 different G. Howe Blaqs. So it was just sort of like, whatever, a common name.
This is why I have him here, Xavier, because he knows shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Just drop it on.
But it is crazy, and that cosplay world is what's really interesting to me is, I think that within the cosplay world, and not just cosplay world, but in nerddom as a whole, is I get so, like, I actually have less patience for the intolerant racist people in those worlds than I do in the everyday world, because it's like, y'all were the misfits that tried to build your own community, and then you're building it, and you're just as bad as that other world.
Exactly.
Not everyone's like that.
And I think I have a problem with it too. And like, maybe you guys can chime in on this too. Is like, I am like, that's my whole platform really, and it has been since I've worked in comics. Is that, like, I'm fighting in the nerd spaces mostly because we don't get to have the same escapism that they get to have, and it really pisses me off. Like, I can't just sit back and watch a cartoon that you tell me is dope when I'm seeing all of the underlining messages or lack of things represented. And it's just my mind is going to see that every time, even if I'm trying to, like, like I was watching Kamen Rider, and Kamen Rider be mad racist sometimes, but
it's amazing that for a lot of white nerds, their version of fantasy is a world with no black people.
I call it world. Yeah, I call is it worlds of whiteness or worlds without color, I think is what I call it.
Yeah. They fantasize about worlds and universes with little to no black people. Like, I mean, I thoroughly enjoy Star Wars, but even in Star Wars, it's like the universe of Star Wars. You mean to tell me that there's only a smattering of black people throughout this entire
in the galaxy?
In Star Wars, humans are the most populous alien species.
Yeah.
Humans are the most populous. You mean to tell me that throughout this entire universe, it's mostly white people there too? That's
great.
Yeah.
It's I talk about it a lot. I don't probably talk about it as much as I used to because I'm just old and tired and grumpy, and but I think that it's interesting to me again because I see, what it comes down to is how much each of us invests in our nerddom or in our escape or in our place, right? And so I think, and this isn't meant to give anybody a pass more so much as it's an explanation, is I think that some people they become so invested in their escape, in the thing that they love, in whatever fandom they're a part of, that any criticism doesn't even have to be an attack. It can just be a criticism or an observation that may sound negative. Most people take it as a personal attack, right?
Yep.
And so a friend of mine the other day said to me, I said, yeah, I'm going to watch a movie on Thanksgiving. They said, what are you going to watch? I said, I'm going to watch the first Wicked. And they were like, oh, I hate that movie. Just like that. And then they went, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah, I don't give a shit if you don't like it. Like, it doesn't say anything. There's like, now if everybody's entitled to their opinion. And the thing is like, I don't tie my self-worth to, like, I tell people, yeah, I prefer Star Trek over Star Wars, but I haven't watched a single one of the new Star Trek shows. I haven't watched the Upper Decks. I haven't watched, the Picard show. So it's like, I don't love Star Trek that much. And I haven't watched a single
Lower Decks is dope.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. I just haven't gotten around to it. I haven't watched anything since
Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
season 2 of.
Are you watching? Also watching Crapopolis?
Me?
No, Xavier. The Dan Harmon show.
No, I haven't watched. Okay, I'll watch it. Yeah, no, if it's Dan Harmon, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up too. The other day, actually this week, I've been seeing this clip go around Instagram, and it's a group of women who are like appear to be on a panel talking about their struggles with getting into Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, how hard it was to find a game, how hard it was to find a safe space, and like, what we the three of us in here know how difficult that is, especially as a woman in the D&D world.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It was all a panel of all white women.
Sorry.
Okay, Jesus Christ. But so, my immediate thoughts was like, yeah, everything you're saying is all well and true, but there's a lot more to add to that conversation about safe spaces in D&D.
Yeah.
Because
what's interesting to me is that a lot of us are guilty of it. I'm guilty of it from time to time. Is like a lot of when we talk about privilege, right? Like everybody has privilege, even if we don't see it, right? But there's always going to be someone who looks at, like I said this to somebody once years ago. I said, there's someone living in a cardboard box, and they got privilege over the person who doesn't have a cardboard box, right?
Yeah.
And that person in the cardboard box, no matter how down and out they are, there's a good chance they're probably looking at the person without a cardboard box going, yo, at least I got a cardboard box, right? I mean, that's just it. And it's very difficult for any of us to acknowledge the privilege that we have, but privilege exists in so many forms. Now, there's always going to be people who have more of it than us.
Yeah.
And we have to call attention to that. We have to point that out. But like, we also have to look at our own and examine our own and just go, okay, wait a sec, where am I going wrong? Or, like, where can there be improvement? And there's nothing more frustrating, honestly, than when someone points it out to you. Oh man, you're thinking, you're not, like, check yourself,
Yeah.
And I try to, when I talk to people about these things, never be confrontational about it. I try to frame it more like, hey, have you ever thought about it this way? But again, the cosplay thing is so, to me, in a lot of ways, it's I don't cosplay, but I've gotten to know more people that do, and I never thought of it as a world or a community or anything like that. That's how out of it I was. Oh, this is just a bunch of people who want to have Halloween like once a month, whatever. And then I started meeting folks and realizing, oh, okay, yeah, no, this is, again, these are my own prejudices, my own preconceived notions, shifting that. But then to discover, oh, wait a sec, it still has the same problems that the rest of the world, outside world, has. Really kind of breaks my heart. I mean, that's the thing that breaks my heart about comics, is like, and a lot of fandom in general is just like that ability for people to lose sight of the fact that this is supposed to be like, these worlds are meant to be safe places for everybody, right? And yet how bent out of shape they become, right? And I'm gonna start cosplaying as Captain Kirk. That's what I'm gonna do. That'll really piss people off.
Yeah, I have a couple of petty cosplays that I'm gonna do. One of them is Grand Moff Tarkin. That one.
You said no, bro. Listen, I'm gonna give you a suggestion, right? You got to get like a Sherman Hemsley type wig, so you look like George Jefferson as Grand Moff Tarkin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic! I love it. In fact, if that actually happens, I got to see it. I got to see that.
I'm writing this down. You ready? Okay.
Oh, you bring it up to sticky notes.
I'm doing Captain Jack Sparrow as well. And that one,
oh yeah, they're gonna really be mad.
That one got ruffled some feathers when I announced I was doing that one, because Captain Jack, like the character of Captain Jack, is anti-racist. He's literally been branded a pirate because he would not transport slaves. Yep. So the Black Captain Jack Sparrow makes sense anyway. So, or sorry, that's another thing that I always have to bring up to people. Like they'll say, like when I cosplayed as Gandalf or Aragorn. Oh, so you're Black Gandalf, you're Black Aragorn. My skin color does not define my cosplay. I am Gandalf. I am Aragorn. Because when it comes to white folks, it's never, oh, you're white, such and such. They're that character. Right?
I'm going to start doing that, though.
Yeah. With Black people, it's always a qualifier. The way that they use Black, it's like a detraction from your actual cosplay, as if your artistry can't speak for itself. Because my cosplays, my weathering, my artwork, whatever it may be, is on point. I do realism to a T. So when people knock my stuff down to, oh, you're Black Gandalf, you can go fuck yourself, genuinely, because I did not work for 6 months on this cosplay to be just boiled down to my skin color. That pisses me off beyond anything.
I feel you on that.
So it was birthed right here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This conversation just birthed a project that I'm going to put together, which is I am going to commission artists to do fan art of various characters from film, TV, only recast them with Black actors, right? So we're starting with Grand Moff Tarkin, and Sherman Hemsley playing Grand Moff Tarkin. That's going to be the first one. I just got to find the artist. But it's like I would like. There's a friend of mine did this great thing with the movie poster for Superman 3. Superman's carrying Richard Pryor, carrying Richard Pryor, and he swapped their faces out. So now it's Richard Pryor, Superman body, and most people laugh at it, and then other people think you've just either pissed on the Bible or shit on the American flag, and I love doing that. I love that.
That's pretty good. I like that a lot. This is question 5. Let's see what you get. I've removed all the other previous questions too, so you don't get them again, but some do repeat. So we'll see. Oh, this is being funny. Okay. Time machine. You get access to one. You go into the future or the past, and why?
Past. I'm giving Native Africans firearms.
Okay.
Like I'm giving them firearms and teaching them how to use them and making it clear. You see white skin, kill it.
Native Africans.
And so Sean is sitting here going, yeah, I need to be more specific in when I'm asking these questions, because I feel like you shouldn't be able to disrupt the timeline either in the future or the past.
No. I'm throwing all those. No, it's good. I throw all those rules out the window too. I'm just surprised. Well, because a lot of people, a lot of black folks, usually be like the future, like, because the past is rough. But like, if you got an agenda and you plan right, I suppose you could do some damage.
But honestly, if we go to the future from this point where we are right now and the current trajectory, what's the future going to be? Handmaid's Tale, probably. Yeah. So, like, I know that the other problem that's presented about going to the past, and this one freaked me out when somebody talked about it, is you go back in time, like, right, and you know that there's a threat that you can stop. You go back in time and you take out Hitler. It's baby Hitler, and you go back to the future, and you things have changed, but it's like nobody knows who Hitler was, and then if you were to talk about it, you killed a baby.
Right? Yeah. I did y'all a favor. I killed that baby.
What?
Who's Hitler? What do you killed a baby? What?
It's interesting to me because when I think about that, if you could go back in the past, I always think about it as being an outside observer, right? I don't actually think about interacting with it. Like so for me, I was like, I'm always like, oh yeah, I'd like to go back and like just be there for the Last Supper. I'd like to hear what like Jesus actually said to the apostles, and I want to see that Mary, and it wasn't just the 12 dudes, that there was other people there, and they were probably eating. And when he said, this bread could be my body, somebody was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? This bread?" like that. Those are sort of things. Some of the things I think of. Like
I'm just outside observer. Like you're not able to directly interact with them, or you're like they know you're there.
They wouldn't know I'm there, so I would be like, I'd be seeing it. I could, or if I'm there, I'm like, that guy that was just happened to be walking by the Garden of Gethsemane when they're handing out the bread and the wine, right? And hey, bro, you want some? And I'm not one of the apostles. I'm not anybody important. I'm just like, what's going on here?
Oh no, Garden of Gethsemane would be hilarious if you were outside observer, because that's where Jesus was like he was so distraught that he was freaking out about his imminent death that he started sweating blood. So imagine you're walking past and you just happen to see some dude in there like flipping shit, just like he's literally sweating blood. You're like, what the fuck is going on in there?
Yeah, that would be wild. What if like you go back though to the Last Supper, right, and you just see Jesus like, who made these mashed potatoes?
I feel like to me again, as someone who's a armchair historian, part of me just would like to observe stuff as it happens and not be involved in it, but just sort of be able, like I would love to go back and see, was that really a Bigfoot that Roger Patterson filmed, like, or was that a dude in a suit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
those are the sort of
Yeah.
things where, for me, it's like, and I think because it's something that I honestly don't believe will ever happen in my lifetime, that I could ever travel through time. I tend to think about it more as like, not how could I get involved, just how could I witness it, right?
Right.
Like always wondering. I have a friend of mine who, his dad worked with Martin Luther King Jr. and worked with Jesse Jackson, a lot of people in the early 60s. And I remember talking to him about it, and I was like, did you what was the feeling? Did you really feel like, oh, we're making history? And the way he said it was like, no, of course not. We were just in the moment. We were just thinking like, I hope we can make this one thing work right here today, And I think that's, we tend to think of history as they're little nuggets that are easily digestible, and that ain't how it is, right? There's so many complicated things. A leads to B. You were talking about Hitler, and the thing is it's like, well, what would have happened to Hitler if he wasn't a failed artist, right? Like, most people don't know that he was that was his thing. He wanted to be a painter, and he failed miserably. And it's like, what if someone had said
on his art, it's actually ass.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Right.
And but what if somebody said, I like your art, and the next thing you know, they're hanging it in a gallery in Berlin, and then so it's one of those things. I just I'm always, because history is taught to us so poorly, it's recorded so poorly, and so there's a lot of things that I would just love to
just not get it for. And actually, I may change this question in the future, because this led to a lot of interesting conversation. If I just get to be in the past and go be an observer, then yeah, I would probably want to go see the moon landing. I would want to, not on Earth. I would want to be on the moon. Granted, I could travel back in time and also get into space. I would want to be there for the moon landing. Or, like the pyramids. I would love to see the pyramids.
I want to know what happened to DB Cooper.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I had dinner a couple of years ago of some friends of mine were having a barbecue, and their neighbor is a retired FBI agent. And my friend's dad is also a retired FBI agent. So we're sitting there, and I said, okay, this guy's retired FBI agent. And I said, I got one question for you. What happened to DB Cooper? And he was like, oh, he's dead. He died in the jump, right? And which is the common story that's told. And I'm the sort of person that will always dismiss that. But this guy, the way he broke it down was like, I was like, yeah, that's probably what happened. It's like he was just talking about it from a very pragmatic sort of sense, because the DB Cooper is a mystery thing that I'm obsessed with, right? And anytime there's someone, my uncle was the real DB Cooper, and then you read the article or watch the video, and you're like, your uncle wasn't shit, like. But so again, I know two people, retired FBI agents. One, the guy I asked wasn't even in the bureau back then, but my friend's dad was part of the bureau, and was a Portland field agent, and so it was the Portland field office that led the investigation. And my friend's dad is also very much like, yeah, no, this is, he's an old man now, but he's like, look, I'm not going to bullshit you, man. I know what you want to hear. But I'm telling you, like there's, and here's how we figured out that he did not survive that fall, and so, but I still refuse to accept that. I still want to believe that
because the lore is awesome.
Bigfoot found him, right?
Oh, one that I really want to know. How the newest theory about how Amelia Earhart was eaten by coconut crabs. that.
I never heard that one.
I was thinking about that when you said DB Cooper.
Apparently crash landed, and she was like immobile, and coconut crabs consumed her body, like consumed her flesh. Like, yeah, crazy.
That one's just ridiculous. Now there's it's interesting too. Like I've argued with this. I know this dude. I haven't seen him in years. He claimed he was the world's number 3 expert on the Loch Ness monster. That's what he would introduce me. Hi, I'm the world's 3rd leading expert on the Loch Ness monster.
That's a weird flex, man.
I was like, is there a quiz? like how do you get there?
Right. What's the ranking system?
And Riley Gaines bragging about getting 5th place.
Yeah. Like that's like taking 2nd place in an ugly contest. But it's funny because like the Loch Ness monster is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, no, the Loch Ness monster, I've given up on believing it exists. Whereas with Bigfoot, like I will argue till I'm blue in the face that Bigfoot is real, and like to the point where I don't bring it up at Thanksgiving meals because I know I'm going to be that dude who's like that person in your family who's MAGA that you don't invite over because they're annoying, right? And I've got a couple friends that are like, man, Bigfoot ain't real, and I'm like, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. I get crazy with that sort of shit. So,
oh damn, man. All right, well, I'm glad I never said anything.
Yeah, don't say it because I will dogmatically prove to you Bigfoot is real, even though I have no proof.
Okay.
No, I won't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I mean, no, it's good to know. It's good to know. So this brings us to the conclusion of our session today of questions with the Slack Pack. But before we go, Xavier, what is it? Anything that you want to share with my audience? Anything you need them to know? That you're thinking about. First of all, I do have your YouTube page pulled up, so we can, if you want to talk about that. But anything else, please go for it.
Most important thing, economic blackout is until December 5th. So you should not be participating in Black Friday. You should not be participating in Cyber Monday. The whole point is we are past the point of no return, essentially. You cannot, there's no voting our way out of this. This is the point where we have to, and everybody's all up in arms about, we don't want to do violence. Okay, the only other way to combat what they are doing, combat the system, is by hitting them in the pocketbook.
Absolutely.
It's either violence or pocketbook, and you gotta you preferably both. But we cannot participate in a system that does not care about us. Because every time we give them $1, it lets them know, oh, I can keep doing worse and worse, and they'll continue to spend money.
Exactly.
We don't have healthcare. We don't have we don't have infrastructure. We are actively watching people get snatched off of the street. There is no reason we need to be participating in this system. And one Saturday and going right back to work on a Monday is not going to save us from Nazis. So I implore people to take this seriously and get engaged with your local outreach programs, get engaged with local activists. Do what you can in your area to not only engage with mutual aid, but for everyone, you got to get off of you got to stop engaging with these systems. That means finding alternatives to streaming services, finding alternatives to these big box stores. We need to actively disengage from a system that does not care for us.
Exactly. I buy, which is why, I wholeheartedly agree. I have given up on many big box stores, mostly in the last 2 years as things, have come into light for me. streaming platforms. I'm not giving them my money anymore, especially when I know how they're using their money. But even with comics, like and David will tell you, I buy a lot of independent comics on purpose because I don't necessarily believe in how the bigger publishers use their dollars as well, or what they decide to do with it. So yeah. Which, I know firsthand that what he just mentioned is also what he talks about on his programming here on YouTube. Some, many topics, as you can see here. Just scrolling through. By the way, I was on this episode right here, this one, so go watch that. But, just look at the topics here. Make America Native Again. Uncle Tom minstrel shows, Candace Owens. Oh, boy. Ooh, God, I got to go back and watch that one. Okay. But like there's a lot of stuff, to be viewed here. And then you also have a large presence on your Instagram page here where you actually get to see some of his cosplay as well that we were talking about earlier. And as well as many videos that he speaks about on several subjects. And those are the two places where I follow him. And I will put those links in the description as well. Anything else that they need to know?
Honestly, I know that things can feel hopeless at times. That's why, you have to approach things from the perspective that marginalized communities, whether it's, Black folks and brown folks here in the United States, or it's people who are suffering under genocide in Sudan, Congo, or Palestine, they don't get a moment to rest. So while you may need to take some, need some time to rejuvenate, always remember that those people that you're fighting for don't get that moment to take a rest. And that should be your motivation for continuing to fight, even if things feel hopeless, even if things feel like it's out of control. Know that there are other people who have your back, who are going to continue fighting as well. It's tiring, but it's worth it because we can't afford to let fascism win. We can't afford to let white supremacy win.
No.
We were brought here against our will. Black folks were, but we can't just be complacent. It's our ancestors fought for the position that we're in now, even though it may not be any significantly better than it was back then. They fought for us, and we need to fight for future generations. I know I have my sons to think about. I'm terrified for the future that's going to be there for them. I'm going to do whatever I possibly can to make sure that I set them up for the best future that they can possibly have. So think about it in that way. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for generations to come.
Yeah. Generations to come. And sometimes people that are outside of your immediate group need to start thinking about other people that are being affected, even if you're not.
Intersectionality.
Exactly. Well, on that note, thank you for that advice. I will make sure to be sharing that over and over and over again. And I want to thank you both for coming to this session with me. If you're still watching, don't forget that go to my co-host website, David F. Walker, writer, soon to be artist, from what I understand as well. But you can check out many of his comic works from over the last, decades or so, and show some appreciation. I'll put that link in the description as well. And, we'll just, we'll end our session here. Thank you again to you both. This was a great conversation, and I look forward to doing more in the future. Make sure you guys tune back in, and make sure you go check out Xavier's page too and watch some of his podcasts, his interviews and segments and stuff like that. Very interesting material. And especially if you're trying to learn stuff, that's why I tuned in. And we know we all have things to learn. So get over there. All right. Well, thank you both, and we're gonna get out of here. So I bid everybody adieu and a peace. Peace.
Adieu.
Yay!